Normally, religious practices produce and reproduce the religious experiences that the religious world appreciates and rewards. This raises a couple of questions. First, is this kind of religious experience proof that the religion's truth claims are true? For instance, is the vision the children of Fatima in Portugal have of the Virgin Mary proof that the Virgin Mary is real? And second, what about new religious experiences, experiences that might challenge the ideas of the religious world? Like the Buddha and his insight into the nature of the world through meditation. When it comes to the first question, the answer is kind of yes and kind of no. Like so many other things, whether these experiences work as evidence depends on how people interpret them. The ecstatic experiences of insiders are usually persuasive to religious people who know how to interpret them as meaningful within that world. But for people outside the religious world, who may have different explanations for those experiences, the experiences themselves may be less than convincing. The second question about new, potentially disruptive experience is more complicated. Devoted religious practices also create an opening for novel experiences, experiences that people rarely have or haven't had before in that world. For instance, the experiences of the ecstatic meditations of Sufi Muslims. This is especially true of mysticism, which is an immediate awareness of oneness with the ultimate that seems to bypass the intellect. But really, it could be any experience of new insight that challenges a world's doctrines and practices. The Buddha, for instance, rejected the teachings of the Vedas that were the basis of his own religious world. The Apostle Paul ended by questioning some tenets of early rabbinic Judaism. The Prophet Muhammad's revelations challenged Arabian way of life at his time. The mystic Julian of Norwich ended by revising the Christian understanding of God. And Martin Luther, conducting what ought to have been a safe practice of reading the Bible, ended by questioning the authority of the 16th century European Church. These really new religious experiences are exactly the kind of experiences that can disorient or even threaten their normally coherent religious world. The challenge to the religious world might be how to recapture such transformative experiences for the religious world, rather than having them become antagonistic or competitive. A different question, however, is what people themselves should do with the experiences that don't fit into their original religious world, especially when these experiences are brought on by or confirmed by normative religious practices. Religious people have to make a choice. Do they trust and act on their experience, even if it challenges some aspect of their world? Or do they disavow or disqualify that experience, or try to suppress it? Or do they find some way to make their experience fit intelligibly within the world? Since religious experience is unruly, many religious people have faced this choice, and presumably many will continue to do so.